Here's a really nice CD player, the Technics SL-P999, 4 DACs, 20-bit. This is a really good player from the past, Class AA, and I like the sound of this very much compared to my very expensive CD player I've got now, very modern one. This has got just as good a sound, if not better, I think. It seems slightly smoother, more like an LP analog record player. It's got an excellent sound. I'd recommend it to anyone, as long as they're working. And I've got the remote that came with this, not normally lost. It's got this very interesting jog thing for finding bits on the track, which I don't use, but I mean you could use it if you wanted to just repeat bits of a track. Lots of options, and on the remote, which a lot of people these days says they don't want that sort of thing, but I find it excellent. It's got a lovely display when it's on. Inside you can see 4 DAC linear 20-bit. It's got a nice reader here which still works perfectly. So what's the matter with it? Well, very simple. Sound keeps cutting out if you move the this. Even if you don't move it, there was a bit of distortion, and it's easy to see why. The solder joint must have come off, because when this moves, it's these springs moving up and down, and so it's pretty easy to get. I took a few screws, the back panel comes off. Just was held on with some screws. Undo the screws that hold the sockets on, and undo all the screws on the board, not too many in these holes, and then we can lift it up and get underneath. So I'm just going to turn it over and have a look at the solder joint underneath. Okay, I've turned it upside down so you can see the circuit board, and moving this, don't know if you can see that at all, but this solder joint is broken, and the other one's probably going to go to, and it's surprising. Now I would have thought they would have realised that that might have broken and bent the end of the metal tag over at right angles, so it gives it a nice joint. So it's just a matter of soldering that. Yeah, the other one's gone. It's gone as well. So it didn't require much movement, and plugging the connectors in and out to break that joint. Most problems are connections on all the equipment. I mean, it's the bad connection, bad joints, bad plug-in sockets gone corroded. It's amazing how many faults are just connections. Anyway, easy to fix. Gonna use my soldering iron and solder it on and put it back together. Okay, we've got the case back on. Connectors in the back. Before these would wobble about. Now it's just the end of the connector that moves around. But this looks good. Switched it on. Nice comprehensive display, and just make sure it works. Just put the CD in. Reads it. Just press play. Got a nice display, elapsed time. You can program it and everything if you want to. Display showing you the peak level. These days all CDs seem to be compressed right up to full level. Time left. This got 73 minutes, really long one. Time again. Display. Track number. Go to another track. Tells you the time remaining or time left at the end of the disc. Another track. Track 15. Track 16, I don't know what this goes up to actually. See what time's left. Last track then, so I already told you all the track numbers up to 16, it's all good stuff. You can skip backwards, pause, and you can jog. Go backwards. Can be useful to some people, not many, but works. So it's good, put the cover back on. And this is mine, I'm going to keep this, it sounds brilliant, this thing. Random play. Do A-B repeats. So you can keep repeating the same bit of a track over and over again if you want. Not quite sure how to use it actually. Peak search. Anyway, all good stuff. Press stop. And it's a quick repair, but typical of old equipment. Bad solder joints broken. No big deal though. Okay, all back together. Just going to show you the remote. That's what you call a remote, the size of that thing. It's got all your program numbers, and you can also, with this, you can turn the display on and off. Display on off. Display on, display off if you don't want the display on at all. And then you got your time, or all the functions you can do from this. And you can change tracks. And you can, I don't know, it's got things like auto cue, and then you got your repeat mode, your search of course, skip, and all your normal things. You pause. Nice, all the lights come on, and play, stop, and you can open it from this as well. These, I think these cost quite a lot of money these days. But if you get one, the 999 is the best one. They did a 666777. They think they did a 990 as well. But the 999 was the 20-bit one. I think they did. Well, they did 16-bit. I think they did 18-bit, and 20-bit was their top one, which is still decent these days. 20-bit converter, 4 DACs. Nice player. Let's put the display back on. Play another track, and good one.